So what we will focus today is like the built-in functions, keywords, identifiers, line condition operators and separators, and the arithmetic operations for today. If we can do that, fine. So let's try for that. Initially, to start with, as I told you about the dynamic typing. So that's what we have learned in the last class, dynamic typing. So after dynamic typing, I will tell you something else. So here. Indentation issue. So everyone feel like, Python is a very easiest language, but the moment you're coming to Python from any other language, so for those folks, it will be slightly difficult in the initial stage because there is a only small issue. I will tell you what is that issue. Slowly you will understand. Say, I have written a small program like this. Right? Every line we write shebang line. This is not mandatory in Windows. For Linux programs, it is kind of needed. And this is likely a doc string size, I told you, for the purpose, right? So, and we have written a small statement like print hello world. Now, see what will happen. I told you, right? So when you have a big prompt, I am trying to remove. It's a Windows command. I need to go to that specific directory. So where we need to do. Okay. So if I do an ls or like dir based upon the operating system, you will see the list of files. So this file will be there, ea_indentation. So Python e so and so. If I execute, I will get hello world. Hello world. So will be executed. This is fine. So to clear the screen, we do CLS. So to do clear the screen and run the program, that is how we write like this. In a simple command, you will not see any nonsense very clearly. I have written a small program, hello world. You are seeing the output. So that's what very clear. Now I will write one more command called as hello world 2. So, and like one more command called as hello world 3. Oh, these 3 commands are there. Then it will execute. Generally, as a beginner, what will happen when you try to copy paste some code from somewhere place or somewhere, there will be some spaces will be coming sometimes, right? You see, after there can be, you can have like any number of empty lines. It doesn't matter. You can have any spaces after the code. That is doesn't matter. But in the starting, if you have any space, that is really a matter here. So if you just execute, it may not seem like very big issue in C language or C++ or any others traditional languages. But in Python, that is a very serious issue. Okay, so before even understanding what is this issue, let me comment this line. So if I comment something, how do you do? So control / is a short key, or you can write any hash before the line. Because Python is a line based executions happens. That's called as interpreter. Line by line execution happens. So only one line at a time we can comment. Okay, again we'll go to the commenting section. But here, if you execute again now, did you see the error is not there? Means the issue is there something with this line only. To understand more, I'm just writing whatever the error message is there. See, whenever an error comes, there are 2 things which will happen. What is the error class? The class of errors. Within that class, what is the error message? Means within the same class, there can be 2 errors also. Let me see that. Then slowly you will understand. So, okay, this is like general code, right? In the same fashion, we have something else called as a block code. Means any programming language will have general statements like this or a block of code. Block means like a if condition, elif, so else, for loop, so while, class definition, everything are like block codes. If you have a block of code, then you will see how things will be different. You see, I wrote like if 12 is greater than 3, print of so and so. See how it was written there in the same way I have written, right? So fine. Now, if I execute, you will see that again it is throwing the same error, right? Indentation error. Okay, let's see. So if you see, now you will understand something interesting. If I comment these 3 lines and fine. Indentation error again. What it is saying this time? Expected an indented block after if statement on line 11. See, so precisely it is asking, right? Means what is the difference between here? Here, unexpected intent means I don't need an indentation, but you gave it. Here, I need an indentation, but you didn't give it. So let me try with the what they have suggested. Okay, they told to give a space, right? I gave it now. Now, if you execute, you will get it. Now, did you understand? A beginner who is coming, he will just see every time the indentation error. They don't know why it is showing that, right? So this is the main problem. They say like sometimes if I give also it is throwing error, if I don't give also it is throwing error. It is nothing like that, very simple. When it is not needed, you should not give. When it needed, it is need to be given. When it is needed means when you are going for a block of code. So because Python don't have this concept of braces, they tried to add that braces, but many people rejected it because it will actually complicate the things, right? Basically, let me show you some examples like how it gonna work. So this if condition is there, right? So that we can have like a if else or if else. So we will discuss about all these things afterwards. But see the syntax. Every time the space is there, right? Given. Okay, now the concept comes like how much space we need to give. Before concluding that, I will tell you like the different kinds of things we have in Python. So we have like if condition or if else or if elif ladder we call. Different kinds of conditions if we have, we can do like that. And similarly, you have a, see, this is a very interesting case. You have an if condition. If under that if you have an if else. Under this if there is a if else block. Under this if there is an if else block, like that. So don't you see it's very interesting, right? Now the question comes, how many is indentation should be there? So for indentation, if I take like 2 spaces, then see it's not matching down so properly, or sometimes it will be confusing because I wrote some code, you will write afterwards, like that. It would be very confusing. To avoid all these things, they told like use a tab. But the point is now tab is like having a specific size. If you go to the preferences, you can see like settings in any language, any editor or IDE if you see. So tab size, if you say, you see tab size is 4, right? Earlier, it used to be some editors used to have 2, some used to have 4, some 3, like that. Consistency used to be not there. That's why they told don't prefer tabs, go with spaces, and 4 white spaces you should give. But like every time writing 4 white spaces is very difficult, right, for us. So that's why at that time what we used to do is like in the dev setup, when you're doing in the editor whatever we are working, we are ensuring that it is having 4 white spaces. Then every time if you do tab also, it's fine, right? So that is what the story here. So hope you are now aware of this concept. Pip8 told that to go with 4 tab white spaces instead of a tab, but still people go with a tab because that is the most easiest way. So in the dev setup itself, you ensure that 4 tab spaces are there. So that is a history to it. Hope it's clear. Fine. And like next thing is about the built-in functions. So every language will have some code we can write. Whatever the actions you want, you can write the code for everything. But some languages will have some predefined functions for the most common things. So when you're trying to use that language, you can make use leverage of that features. If you see in the case of Python, you can notice that in Python 2 we can ignore. So in Python 3.11, right? So now it is, there were totally 71 built-in functions are there. Sir, should I remember everything at this moment? No. When its time is coming, I will instead of learning all at one shot, it's better to learn when things will be needed. Hope you see you have already worked on a couple of things here. Did you see the print built-in function or the type built-in function, which we already discussed, right? So unknowingly, slowly, you will learn all of them. Yes, someone is asking a question.
No, how did you open this function? Like
how did I open this function?
Yeah, all the list of the function.
I didn't open, I just created this file.
Oh, you created. Okay, got it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can find this material in the online also, but I'm making the code here, everything here itself, so that you can see everything here.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have these many functions are there. So let me work on one of the small easiest function, that is a print function, which we're using for quite some time. If you go for this print function, how I told you, so we can start any program with a shebang line. Of course, it's not mandatory, but just to show you the exact convention. Then we write the doc strings. What is the purpose? And this is also not mandatory. So Pipette says it's better to have the doc strings, as that for documentation it will be useful. So what we are doing, print function. So syntax and usage, right? That's what we want to learn. So what saying? Say I will have something like name is equal to, say, Almighty, something. And similarly, so we know it is a string, right? It is a string. So when you're writing, there are two ways of defining. So down the line, I will explain also sometimes the better way of writing. So with typings, how we do. So slowly the evolution cycle I will take. But hope you remember earlier we wrote these things. If you want to see anything, first we need to print it. Without printing, nothing will happen. If I print like name, clear and Python space. So what are the file name? If you give, it will print, right? Name means it will print whatever is there in it. So similarly, if I say print of, same print of in quotes, if I give name, then it will do the name. So hope you remember all these things. If I want both of them in the same place, I can do comma separated. If I do comma separated, I can get all of them together. And if I say within the quotes, right, I can do anything. It doesn't matter. But outside, if you do, it really matters. So fine. And if you want to say I want to do like this, say, I can understand that if I want to add two things, say name of the student plus name, because both were strings, right? So we can do like this. I can do like this, right? Because this is also a string and this is also a string. I can just do it like this, fine. So, but you won't see the output because there is no print statement. And if I place a print statement, name of the student is, and if I say, so you can see that name of the student is like this. So what we did some string concatenation and then printed. So plus operator means list plus operational type. And similarly, if I do in this way, tell me what will happen. Name of the student is, will I get Almighty or something else? You see now, if I do, you will get a space and the same name. And the class should be interactive. Whether you tell right or wrong, that is secondary. Participation is most important. Okay. So try to participate and tell. And what is the name of the student this time? We didn't place a quotes, so that's why you will get the exact name, right? So fine. So similarly, why I'm telling this much time? There is some reason. So if I place a empty print, so it will give an empty print statement and you won't see anything. Okay, now one thing you need to understand. After the one thing, I didn't give any space, but still I got one white space, right? If I give one white space, I got like 2. If I don't give white space also, you got 1. What could be the reason? Is very simple. Whenever you are working on any a print statement, print will have optionally one more parameter called as sep. You see, this time I gave 3 substatements with the same content, one with separation of white space, some with hyphen, some nothing. Now you see the difference, you will understand. So did you understand what's happening? To understand further, let me give you one more example. So let me take one more empty print statement so that you'll get one white space. Then I print it. So initially I just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 like that. The default is the space between each one is a white space. But if I give specifically white space as a space, you got it right. And similarly, if you want like something else as a space, you see this time I give hyphen, underscore, colon like that I give. Did you all understand what is the importance of separate? So now what is the conclusions what we drawn till now? Print is a function which will print whatever you give. It doesn't matter what data type you give. If you give any operation, it will perform the operation and print the result. Or if you use 2 different data types, it will just print comma separated, sorry, space separated. Why it is doing space separated? Because there is an operator called as sep. If you want to customize that, you can do like this. Hope it's clear till now. So feel free to ask any questions if you have. Okay. We already seen that Python is a dynamic type language. For the same name of the student, earlier name is some Almighty. I change the name to something else. It doesn't matter, we can change it, right? Fine. So, and one point, so I want to do is like, okay, so here either you with plus operation also you printed, with comma separated also you did, right? Now you will understand the Python thing. Can I do same like above with a plus operator? Can I do? No. So this is because Python is a strictly typed language. This is a new concept that you are learning now. Why? Reason is very simple. So this is what a string object, and this is what this is an integer. We cannot add a string and an integer. So that's why Python is a strictly typed language. Then what is the solution? The solution is very simple. We need to convert both of them to one type. If not one, the other one. Say like integer can be converted to a string, right? So if I do str of this thing, then you will understand it will work. Oh, I need to comment this. So now did you see that it is working? So now did you understand the concept of strictly typed language?
Yes,
Oh, fine. Yeah. So one more example to quote. You see now, this time you will understand. I have 1 and 2. If I add, see, I'm giving this thing such that you can see the same output other way. Just for your understanding only. In a Jupyter notebook also, I can explain this concept in a one line. But here I am doing because I want you to be more comfortable programming. So 1 plus 2, if you do, it will be addition. Or adding 2 strings, it will be string concatenation. So both is possible in Python, but you cannot do like one data type and addition with the other because those will not work. So that's what happening, right? Even if you go to interactive mode also, you'll understand the same. If I do 1, so plus 2, it works. Say 1 as a string plus 2 as a string, that also works. But like 1 plus 2 as a string, that doesn't work, right? That's what you need to be aware of. So next thing, then what is the solution for it? Convert them both to same data type. Either if you have a string and integer, convert both to strings or convert both to integers. Here we cannot convert this what name of the student to a integer, right? That's why I just converted number to an integer string. That's it. Then how to do that? There are something called as type converters. Now we see slowly I introduced 3 more built-in functions: str, int, and float. By the name itself, you can understand. That's the beauty of Python. You can see that I'm converting one and other one is string. So converting that string to integer means not every string can be converted to an integer. There is a difference also, right? So if it is like a number, it can be converted. Similarly, any number can be converted to a string. That doesn't matter. See now, so both can be done. In either way, if you do, you see the result will be, see here in this case 3, in this case 12. Hope it's clear for everyone. Similarly, what you need to understand is like, that's a conclusion that we have drawn at the time. If it is like 123, we can convert. Can we convert like 23.4 means? We cannot convert this because it's a float. We cannot convert to integer. Similarly, if you say like int of 2, then we cannot convert, right? So still that a didn't come maybe, or this is not a correct way logic, right? So this is how the conclusion. With this program, I want to show you what is a print statement, what are type converters, so how to use them, and like what is the type, strictly typed language means what, dynamic typed language means what. Hope you understood these differences. So last one more point to go fastly into this syntax. In the print syntax, so you learned previously about how to work with the print, right? Now let me introduce one more part to this print statement. Print is a good function, so it will do one more thing. So before going ahead, I want to introduce something called as escape sequences. What do you mean by escape sequences? How they work with the print statements. Generally, print will, when you're working with print only, we will deal with these things. So what are these characters doing? So what they will help. Let me give a simple example. If I take like, say, hello world Python. If I need to execute Python space h so and so. You see what happened? Hello world Python came. So similarly, if I write one more statement, this time the same hello world Python, but in addition, I will add something. Here a /t, here a /t. I'm telling it a white space escape sequence because of this only. If you see the output, did you see the /t here anytime? No. But you are seeing its effect. So those are called as escape sequences. Escape sequences show their effect during a print, but they will not be seen in the output. What if accidentally some characters are there like, and we want them? We can use that. There is other way. Before going that, you are understanding what is this /t. /t means tab space, right? Similarly, if I go for /n, see one time /t, one time /n I give. /n means new line. Did you see for the first time you got the tab space and the next time you got a new line, right? So that's what. So similarly, there are like many like these escape sequences. Not everything is mandatory for us. So these were like most commonly used. Now coming to the second case. Sir, what if accidentally something is there and we don't want the character to miss in the output? In that case, we can go like this. So if you want some character to be done, there are two ways. You see, you place it 2 slashes before it instead of 1 slash. Then it will be ignored. Sir, what if I have a big paragraph and paragraph has many things like this? I cannot go to each of the line and do, right? It would be crazy. So in that case, so you can mark it as a raw string by just placing a R before it. Now you can have any big statement, it doesn't matter. The moment you placed an R before it, you were telling to print statement that, hey, treat it like a raw string. Raw string means treat it as it is. No, don't try to interact it. Don't think about the, so escape sequences like that. So a very good example for you is like going with, let's say this is a very good example. If say you have a new folder, so so this is most common problem in Windows. So C:/my/new folder is there. So when you're doing, so without this thing, let's say without a raster representation, you see in that case, what will happen? Generally, it happens with Windows paths only because this slash will be like this, right? For Linux paths, it won't happen. So that's the reason whenever you're working with Windows, that's why whenever you're printing any statement, it will do like that. You see, that's all. The simple example you remember in the starting day when I did the demo, I told like to understand the Python path where your particular thing is executable. Did you see sys.executable? If I do the same thing in Mac and Linux, it won't show like this double slashes. It will show the Linux paths. But in Windows, it is showing the double paths, right? So if you want one of them, you need to write like this. You see, if the same thing was placed within a print statement, did you see you got one of the slash? So that is what is important. Hope it's clear for you. Okay. So going back. So now, why I'm telling this slash and its importance here. So you need to understand that in C language, have you ever seen that, or I don't want to compare with other languages, but in general, in any language, so if you are printing something, if you want the cursor to move to the new line, you should intentionally give it. Nowadays, some functions, some languages are coming with that kind of functionalities, two types of print statements also, like Go language. But like traditionally, so this is not there. So every time if you're printing, you should manually go to the new line on your own. But in Python, it will happen automatically because in the print statement, print is a function, right? What are the data you want to print? You would write comma separated. Apart from that, there were two optional things called as separator and end. In the previous program, we discussed about the separator. Now we will discuss about the end. Means if I say like two print statements, say hello and a world. After printing hello, I didn't tell it to go to the world, right? It will automatically come. Did you see? The moment world is coming, it is going to the new line. That is the default effect. If I don't do also like that happens. If I specifically give end equal to slash n also, the same thing happens. Similarly, if I do like after one thing, if I do like a end is something else, say some two underscores. You see, after printing one statement, instead of moving the cursor to the new line, it is adding this. What are you have given, right? So to see the same example, we can see if I give like a slash t, you can notice that it is giving a slash t, tab space. Instead of going to new line, it is doing like that. But for the statements, if you don't give, it will be default will be again slash n. Cursor will go to the new line. You see, in this case, I want to show there were like multiple values. No separator was not given. So default separator is space. That's why you got space. But after the one print statement, instead of new line, it gave this slash t, and you got like that. And now if you want to add this separation also, that's where you will slightly change the difference. See, I added separator as semicolon. Now you see what will happen? For the values in the same print statement, semicolon, others will come like this. So like that, you can play with the print statements. So hope it's clear, everyone. Any doubt till now? In the print statements and everything? Fine. Now, going to the next thing, which is seldom used, but this is also one of the feature. Slash t and slash n are most commonly used, but there is one thing called as backslash. So which is seldom used, but still it has a value. You see, he after that slash b, 1 2 after that slash b, first after that slash b, and like this. If I do like this, what will happen is, first it will print the first things. The moment slash b comes, it will overwrite the previous character. Did you see that he and slash b I means it was overwriting on e. it was overwriting on E. So 1, 2, so /B 3, 4. It is overwriting on it. Similarly, first /B, second. It is overwriting on the previous character, that is T. You see, here /B means there is nothing before it. So nothing to overwrite. And similarly, if I do like, so in the end, if I do /B, that also will not make any difference because after that, there is no character, right? Hope it's clear. /B will overwrite the previously printed character. If only one character, if you want to overlap, you can go like that. But what if you want to overwrite the entire thing starting? So assume like it's like a typewriter. Have you ever seen how a typewriter works? If you see the typewriter, they will manually do to the starting like that. Assume. I think here you can understand the same thing. You see, this is a very good example. 1, 2, 3, 4 dog. It's a very good example for you to understand. First 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 will be printed just like this. And then it will go to the starting and try to overwrite. Now you told D. Next, it will do O. Next, it will do G like that. That's why you see dog 3, 4, 5, 6 something. Hope you understood this point. We are overwriting from the starting. That's it.
Hi. So
Yes.
line number 61.
61.
The print. Yeah. The
Yes.
print statement.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there is no next character. That's why it didn't print.
Yeah, it didn't print anything. It didn't overwrite anything. There is nothing to overwrite after it, right?
Okay,
Like
so
this.
you saw the example like dog one by one. It is going to like in typewriter. So that's why it's not overwrite that D, right?
There are 2 points I'm telling. /B will just overwrite the previous character.
Okay.
/R will overwrite from the starting of that line.
Okay.
I will give a simple example also for you to understand these things. Next.
Can you once tell about /B?
/B simple. See, 1, 2, 3 /B 4 is there. Assume. So means like /B will overwrite the previous character. Means on top of 3, the 4 will come. Okay.
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 Yeah. Only one character will overwrite to the left. So whereas here it will overwrite from the starting onwards.
Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Oh, thank you.
Sure. Similarly, not only this, with print we can do multiple things. Next, you will learn about something called as Unicode characters. Unicode means anything which starts with /U. Earlier, it used to be a big trouble actually in Python 2, because Python 2 default encoding is like ASCII, whereas in Python 3 default encoding is Unicode. Means other languages also we can add. It's very simple. You remember yesterday I showed you a program which was written in Telugu. That is all compatible because Python 3 added this kind of supports. What is the point I want to tell is that every character, so Unicode is very simple to understand. So how can I recognize all of you people individually? Maybe there will be 2 Sudhirs, 2 Shrutis, 2, so Hemas, many people. I can give a unique number so that I can recognize you. In the same fashion, you see keyboard. Have you seen the keyboard of an English keyboard or like a French keyboard, a Japanese keyboard? Everyone will have the same keys. The order will be same, but the numbers and names will be different, right? Okay, how the computer is understanding that? So very simple. For every key, there will be a unique number associated. That's how they recognize it. So over a period of time, so if you see the English characters are like 24, right? After that, symbols, English characters, and all these things are there. Max 256 will be there. That is a ASCII. If you go further, that is Unicode. So Unicode is needed for anything. Like, let's say if you want to do a rupee symbol or euro symbol, for everything we need to have a character, right? So like that Unicodes came to picture. So that is again a story to discuss, but that's how a unique number to recognize. So, and what is this? It's not a simple number. 20B9 means hexadecimal. Hope you're aware of hexadecimal representations. So to go into the hexadecimal, if you want to tell that hexadecimal, you can write /H. So why I telling all these things means print can be intelligent to recognize all these kinds of things. Hope it's clear now. Again, we will go further to whatever we have learned all these things. I will make a practical usage of them. So in the next things.